Hi there, folks. Welcome to today's episode of the Chaikin Minute. In today's video, we are going to explore a part of our portfolio health check, which can be accessed on any list that you have clicked here in the workspace. The portfolio health check has a number of different pieces, but today we are going to specifically discuss the Chaikin Power Grid under the industry group breakdown section. The Chaikin Power Grid lays out the stocks in your portfolio in a visual way so you can understand where the likely outperformers are, where the likely underperformers are, or where the stocks that might be a mixed bag that you might want to consider doing some work on might lie. How does this work? Well, strong stocks that are bullish rated, are going to exist here on the right side of the power grid. As we can see, it says strong stocks right here. Stocks in strong industry groups that have more bullish rated stocks than bearish rated stocks, are going to live on the top of our power grid. And that means that stocks that have bullish ratings that are also in strong industry groups with more bulls than bears are all going to live in the top right corner of our power grid. Preferably, the stocks we own are going to live up here in the top right corner. And these industry groups listed on the far right side of the screen are in order of strength. The stronger industry groups based on that power bar ratio are going to be at the top. Capital markets, consumer finance, insurance, as we're recording this video, many of the financial related companies and therefore industry groups have bullish ratings. So we can see in this portfolio, we have a lot of stocks that are bullish and in strong industry groups. A lot of them as we get a little lower, but still quite strong. What about the bottom left? The bottom left is where we find weak groups and weak stocks, right? As we see stocks that are bearish here on the left side and stocks in weak industry groups on the bottom. So the combination of those two down here in the bottom left, bearish rated stocks in weak industry groups with more bears as opposed to bulls, are stocks we would likely want to consider removing from our portfolios, right? Stocks that have bearish ratings, we would expect to underperform in the months ahead. Add that to the bearish industry group, right? We like to say about strong industry groups, a rising tide lifts all boats. That's why we look for strong stocks that are in strong industry groups. Well, we can probably say the opposite as well. Weak industry groups, right? A sinking tide sinks all boats or something like that would be true as well. So these stocks that we are finding as being bearish and in weak groups would immediately be stocks I would go look closer at the chart of and determine if it is something we would look to exit out of. There's a high probability an exit would be logical, depending, of course, on your personal situation. Now, the more complicated situations are the top left and the bottom right. What about stocks in the top left corner, where we find stocks that are in strong industry groups, but stocks that are then also bearish rated? Well, maybe what this tells us is, a stock like Love, perhaps that's in the strong household durables group. Perhaps we found the wrong stock, but the right group. So we can see here, all right, household durables is strong, but maybe Love isn't great. Now, I already own two other stocks in household durables. Maybe as I consider my portfolio and my diversification, I might say, you know what? I already have enough of household durables. I could maybe use more consumer finance since I only have one, and that's such a strong group. So maybe you would choose to sell Love and add something in consumer finance or other strong industry groups that you don't even have here, right? We can see so many finance companies. Maybe we've decided we're overweight, right? You can see all the different ways you can use this power grid to think through your portfolio. On the other hand, what about the bottom right? Now, these are bullish rated stocks that are in weak industry groups. So CDW, RMD, ANGO, DHR in this portfolio are all bullish rated. However, electronic equipment and healthcare equipment are bearish rated industry groups with more bears as opposed to bulls. Do we need to immediately go sell a stock because the industry group is weak? No. But again, if we're skewing the odds in our favor, if we are checking more and more boxes to, by taking that weight of the evidence approach to skew the odds in our favor, as I said, then the industry being strong is one of those things that's going to give us that extra leg up. I would probably keep a closer eye on stocks like CDW, RMD than maybe I would stocks up here in the capital markets in the top right corner, right? As long as these stocks in the bottom right, everything else stays green on the chart. The industry group is weak, okay. But understand there's a little extra risk there with weak industry groups. How often have we seen news about one of the competitors to the stock you own be very poor and it impact your stock, even if it wasn't directly related to the stock you own? Sure, that absolutely happens. It's a big part of the rising tide lifts all boats, or the sinking tide sinks all boats, or falling tide. I don't really think that's a phrase, but it probably should be. The concept is the same. So this is how we use the power grid. We try to focus on stocks in the top right corner. We certainly want to focus on stocks in the bottom left corner for the opposite reason, likely looking to remove those from our portfolios, and ways we can really take action on the top left corner and bottom right, ways we should be approaching those stocks, maybe to replace these with others in similar groups, or keep a closer eye on these due to the weakness in industry group, but possible strength in the particular stock. The odds are not quite as skewed in your favor for those in the bottom right, of course, as the top right of the grid. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Chaikin Minute. We'll be back with you again tomorrow.